Welcome along, guys. That's not going to work. Welcome along for a bit of an impromptu live here tonight with the Papaya. Bit of a question to pose to the community tonight. Now, normally in an evening, I am on TikTok working on the cars. No one on yet. Interesting. Doing something a bit different tonight. I thought I would welcome along. If you're just joining on, say hello in the chat if you are on. Not sure who's on. I'm going to see if I can open up my comments. Oh yeah, there they are. That's the comments. Welcome along. Bit of a different question tonight to pose. So I'm normally on YouTube. Normally on TikTok in an evening doing lives. But I thought I'd jump on YouTube tonight, do a quick live, talk about the car, get some feedback, get some thoughts from people, and what they should think I should do. It's really cold out, so I don't think I'm going to be on for too long. But just have a look what's going on with my little flashy light. But hopefully you can hear me. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Let me know. Give the little live a thumbs up. I've only got one person on watch at the moment, which is unusual because although it was a bit of an impromptu live, wasn't it? So I thought I'd just stick it on and see what goes on and get a lot more people watching on TikTok. Oh, someone's giving it a little thumbs up. Wonder who that is. Drop me a comment in the chat if you are watching. There are a few people jumping on now. Welcome along tonight. I'm Andycharger. For those of you that follow my channel, I review and talk about Audi TT Mark 1s, do jobs on them, review shows, talk about most things to do with the car, history of the car, you name it, I talk about the car. So if you're joining for the first time, welcome along. I've not done a live on TikTok for a lot, live on YouTube for a long time. I normally do a question and answer with a session on here now and again with people. So I thought I'd just jump on and chat to you all tonight. Just have a quick catch up, see what people have been up to, and sort of pose the question about the Audi TT Mark 1 3.2 V6 you see behind me. See what your thoughts are. Should I sell the Papaya? Potentially got a decent offer on it. Haven't got it for sale. Haven't advertised it anywhere. It's one of 42 ever made for the UK market. If you've seen my video, those of you that follow my channel, you're probably well aware of. And it's just one of those things. Should I sell the car? If the right money is available, would you sell the car? Just don't look. I can't really actually see any comments. So if anyone's watching and can type, someone wants to just type a quick comment, just put hi or something like that, just so I know that the comments are working. I can see the little comments tab, but I can't see anyone that has typed yet. So there's a few of you watching. Obviously, I've got two Audi TT Mark 1s, as many of you will know. I've got the 3.2 V6 behind me, which I sold my blue car to purchase last year. And I've got my Silver Roadster, which is really the main channel car for those of you that know about the car. I'm going to bring you in a bit, so I'm a bit more sort of in the frame. Oh, only three people on now, but hey ho. So the question I'm posing is, should I sell the TT? Oh, hi Phil, thanks for that. Reading me loud and clear, that's great to know. Thanks, buddy. Someone approached me yesterday, or was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Someone sent me a message on my email account who was looking to buy an Audi TT Mark 1 in Papaya. Told me his budget. Well, he didn't tell me his budget. I asked him what his budget was and asked him what mileage he's looking for. And he asked me, did I know anyone that had one for sale? And obviously I've got one, haven't I? But it's everything's got its price. And I just sort of mentioned, I said, well, you know, he said he was looking for a sub 90,000 mile car. And told me what his budget was. And I said, well, look, I've got a 68,000 mile Audi TT Mark 1 in Papaya. And it's not for sale, but if someone made me the right offer, I know what I paid for it. I know what they're worth at the moment, and I've seen various ones for sale. I don't think there's anyone that's been for sale that's is in the same ballpark as this car, to be perfectly honest. But they do come up for sale. So just interested in the chat. Do people want to put in the chat what they think the car might be worth? What would you accept for this car? So it's a 68,000 mile Audi TT Mark 1 3.2 V6 in Papaya coupe, one of 42 ever made for the UK market. There are a few around in the UK now from Japanese imports. Not quite as desirable as ours, cannot demand as good money as the original UK cars. Obviously, the 42 that were made for the UK, I think there might be no more than half of those left now. I know a few that have been broken for parts, for definite. Um, I know where there's two immaculate examples that live in one person's house, um, further up north. But this is my only one that I've got. But if the right money was available and wanted to buy this, should I sell the car? I know a lot of people will be saying, "Oh, everyone's leaving the Mark One TT world on YouTube. All the YouTubers are dropping out." No, we're not. I wouldn't be going anywhere because I've still got my silver car, still do content, still go to all the shows. Um, do I need two TTs? Probably not. If the money was available, would I do it? Thank you, Stuart. Thanks to know that you're hearing me loud and clear. Thanks, buddy. Um, what would your thoughts be if I was looking to sell the car? What do you think the car would be worth? Um, I went out yesterday and filmed a video with the silver car actually, because I don't know if it was the same where you are in the UK or where you are in the world, but it was really cold yesterday, but beautiful bright sunshine, lovely conditions, nice and cold and crisp. And what I like to do in the winter time, call me a sadist, but I like to put the roof down. I like to jump in the car, and I like to go for a drive around the local roads and just feel the wind around you. Turn the seats right up on the car, and yeah, just feel the warmth in the car, but also feel the cold, the bright sunshine beaming down. So you've obviously got your sunglasses on, so you're all good from that perspective. But that to me is the best way to enjoy your Audi TT Mark 1 Roadster. Yes, it's a convertible, and you think, well, the summer's the time to enjoy a convertible. I disagree. I think the winter time is the time to enjoy your car when you've got the roof down, you're out in the environment, you're out in the elements, and you've got the sun beating down on you. You've got your glasses on. It's freezing cold. The seats are cranked up, and you're in that little warm cabin. It just makes you feel great. So I think that's the way to enjoy a roadster. So I thought, well, I'm sure other people feel the same way about it, or people put their cars away. So I'm going to do a video. Well, I'll film the video. I've got to edit it down, and it's all going to be about um, buying roadsters in the winter. Because right now, people are selling them. They are cheap. They are affordable because no one wants a convertible over winter, bizarrely, because they think it's a summer car. I don't agree. I think they are a winter car as much as they are a summer car. The difference is people don't like taking them out in the bad weather, the sort of mucky and dirty roads. I get that, but as long as you hose them down and clean them off afterwards, not a problem. Keep the salt off all those elements. If you've got somewhere to garage it, if you're lucky like me, you've got your car in a garage. Obviously, the Papaya lives in the garage because that is the one that's probably worth the money out of the two cars. My silver car, I paid 2,650 for it in 2018. I don't think I'd get that for it now. If I got £2,000 for it now, I think I'd be lucky. Roadsters aren't worth money, particularly silver ones. They're worth 10 a penny. So I think probably that silver car, well, it might even be worth £1,500 maybe. It's on 86,000 miles, I think. So it's still a sub 100,000 mile car. The bad points on that car is the Haldex is currently not working, or hasn't been working for a couple of years. Although I've got not a brand new, but I've got a diff and I've got a Haldex unit sitting in the garage ready to put on that car. And there will be a video coming up on that. So the Papaya obviously has broken down 2 weeks ago at a show. And the reason it broke down is the alternator failed. So it's not like what I class a true breakdown. It's just needs a new alternator and that'll be good as gold again. I've replaced the brakes on this car in the last few weeks as well. So it's got Brembo brakes on the front of it now. It's got that double din stereo as well, Apple CarPlay. It's got some really nice features for a Mark 1, really. Some nice OEM plus features. Completely stock standard engine. The exhaust is stock standard. The suspension is stock standard. It's had some paint in the last in this year because I had a friend of mine did the rails. a new wing on it this year as well. So because the wing was a little bit rusty, so it's a new wing on it. So it's in pretty good condition, I have to say. But when someone sort of came out of the woodwork yesterday, told me their budget, I thought, well, do you know what? I would consider selling it. But what are your thoughts? You let me know what you think. And sitting right behind me here, probably just talk about some other things we've got in the garage. I've got a 1.8 turbo BAM engine sitting right here. So I'm going to spin you around. We'll talk about that quickly as well now. So if we spin that round, there we go. So hopefully you can hear me nice and clearly as well in the garage tonight, because I thought I'd do a quick YouTube live, because I normally do my stuff on TikTok in an evening, but I thought I'd jump on here tonight and talk about this instead. I don't even know if I've monetized the video, so I'm not getting anything for tonight, I don't think, but it's always good to get new people in, talk about the cars, talk about the things we've got going on. So this is the engine out of the project car. So those of you that watch the channel and know about the black project car, this is the engine out of the project car. So I'm going to bring you a bit closer so we can take a quick look at that. We can talk about it. So here is the engine out of the project car. So this is the 1.8 BAM engine. It had a slipped cam belt. The cam belt had slipped on this engine before I bought the car, and it had essentially shredded itself. I think that the valves might be bent on it. At least the valves are bent on it. Other damage might be involved as well. It might be damage to the top of the pistons. Likely, I imagine the valves have come into contact with the pistons. When Bryn was down and we looked at the engine, we couldn't work out how it had slipped so much. So you've got this top cog. If I bring you around this time, we can have a look at it a bit better, can't we? So let's see if I can do that. In fact, I might turn the engine around because I don't think the light will reach that far. Yeah, put you back there, so like that. If I can just pull the engine round for you guys. Talk amongst yourselves for a minute. So we'll spin it around here, like that. Pull it back a bit further. There we go. Right, so on here, so here's the top. So here is the, this will be, obviously you've got your two camshafts up here. So this is the pulley wheel off that, I guess you class as the big toothed wheel at the top for the camshaft. Now for this wheel, when it's total dead center, the marks are all lined up right now. So the total dead center down at the bottom on the crankshaft pulley, that is 2 revolutions of the crankshaft pulley for every one of the camshaft pulley, just so people are aware. And this was out by almost half a turn. So that's quite a bit. So this, not only is it jumped teeth, but the teeth were shredded. It lost about somewhere in the region of about 20 and 25 teeth it lost off the belt. So it's jumped a whole way. So I think the engine would probably be shredded. The engine's come out of the car because I've broken the car for parts mainly and sold a lot of those parts off. It's a difficult question. I just wonder if prices will continue to rise for our Mark ones further. The V6 is probably the least common, and most of I'm keeping my V6 for a bit longer. Great answer, Philip, that is, on what you should do with it. Hence why when I was, just going to turn that light up a little bit, when I was approached yesterday on email by someone that's looking for an Audi TT Mark 1 Papaya 3.2 V6, you know, and I started thinking about what it might be worth. And if you look at the value of that car and you look at the value of a lot of 3.2 V6s at around on similar money, that car's probably asking almost double what you could get for a more common colour. And it's all about the colour and its rarity, because there was only 42 ever made for the market in the UK in that colour. So if I just spin it around now, there it is, sitting in the garage for those of you that know. So when I did the brakes, I also used a brake bleeder to bleed the wheels down. Bleed the brakes down. I'm just going to give that a quick polish off because is it any clearer? No, I think it's the light that's causing the problem. But yeah, so I bled the brakes with a brake pressure bleeder, which is this thing here. So this is what I used to bleed my brakes. Now this was just a cheap one off. Just off Amazon. I think it was about 30 quid. And as anything cheap, it doesn't hold pressure very well and it leaks, because you get these two caps with it, and you screw that onto your brake fluid reservoir, create a nice seal. You pump it up so you can force the fluid through, pressurize the brake system, undo the bleed nipples, pump the fluid out, change the fluid, essentially get all the air out of the system. However, these don't make a very good seal on the reservoir, okay? And it was pumping, pouring out of the top of the reservoir rather than going through the braking system, so it's coming out. I just like it was going everywhere. So I posed the question: Is it because it's a cheap? Is it a cheap? Oh, Stephen Harper, yeah, the orange TT owned by a famous YouTuber must be worth even more. There's no famous YouTubers here, mate. Only me. But when I screwed this up, obviously it was leaking, and I thought, is it 'cause it's a cheap one? And apparently, even the expensive ones leak, from what people have said. So I thought I might improvise to do it properly. And because I've broken the black Mark One for parts, I've got all the parts basically in my garage in little cubby holes. One of the things I've got is the top off the brake fluid reservoir. So I think the plan is going to be, this is the if I just quick release this. So this is the bit that would go in the reservoir, and you normally have the cap. If I put it through like that, there you go. So that's what it would look like on the brake fluid reservoir. So I think what I'm going to do to get a good seal, I'm going to get the yellow brake fluid reservoir spare cap. I'm going to make a hole in it, and then what I'm going to do, once I've made that hole in it, I'm then going to put this gadget through it and attach it to a bolt, make sure it's a good seal, and then attach it to my brake bleeder, pressure bleeder. And I think that should do the job. Because where this is leaking in the car, when I'm building the pressure, it's not coming out of here. It's actually coming out around the threads. That's where the fluid's all coming out of. So it can't hold pressure. Interestingly, the rest of the pressure bleeder seems to be holding good pressure. So if I put the cap on it and pump it up, it holds really good pressure. So the problem is in these caps, and I did know that the caps that come with it are a bit naff. So yeah, so that's my plan anyway. I'm going to try and do that again. So I'm going to do a little video on making an improved brake pressure bleeder with an original Audi TT Mark 1 brake reservoir cap and my cheap brake pressure bleeder. So that'll be a little video coming up. Also, because the alternator's gone on this car, I'm going to take the alternator off, and I'm going to do a video on diagnosing the alternator faults and how I've established there's a problem. So we're going to test it. We're going to strip it down, find if we can find what's actually failed on the alternator. I've seen a few videos on other cars on it, so I thought I'd maybe cover one on the Audi TT. I'm going to do a video of removing it on this, because the best way of getting the alternator off this car, because the alternator is about here, and unfortunately, the best way of getting to it is to take the front end off the car. So I am going to do that. I'm going to take the bumper off and fit an alternator to the car. I've actually got an alternator sitting right here. If I pick it up. So that is the one off the black car. Apparently, it's the same part. But I wouldn't want to put a old alternator off the black car in the car, because if I did it and then 150 miles later this one goes, then I'm gonna have to do the job again. So I might as well get a new alternator. So yeah, great. If you're enjoying what you're watching, guys, tonight, please do give it a little like as well, so I know that people are out there watching. It's always good to see that people are watching. And if you don't follow me already, please give a subscribe to the channel, where you'll find a whole host of content on the Audi TT Mark 1. It's really cold in the garage tonight. I didn't plan on coming out here for too long, but I just thought I'd have a quick catch up, tell you maybe, should I sell the car, because someone has approached me and asked me if I know of one for sale. Well, I don't know of one for sale, because it's not technically for sale at the moment. But I said everything's got its price, and I like it. I like this car, but I don't love this car, because if I'm perfectly honest, I was more attached to my blue car that I sold to buy it. And the reason for that is that I wanted something a bit different, because when I go to a show, it's nice to have a car that's a bit different. If you go, I'll go in my silver Roadster, everyone's got a silver Roadster, so they don't look different. No one wants to look at your silver Roadster, but this is a real eye-catching car. Also, I thought that would be a real eye-catching car, because whenever you go to a show, you never see a Papaya car. Well, you didn't used to see a Papaya car. Now, when you go to shows, there seems to be quite a few of them about. With mainly Japanese imports. I know of at least 3 in within about a 50-mile radius of where, well, maybe a 100-mile radius of where I am. One goes to shows quite frequently, so it's not an unusual car. There's 2 of them there. There's one that's been repainted into Papaya. It's actually a Moray blue car. And I always like to point out the look under the bonnet because it's blue underneath. Not because I'm just being, just because I want to say, look at the difference. Because if you actually put them side by side, there is a very slight difference in colour. Sunglasses from V Festival. I say, no, Laz. How you doing, Laz? Laz, if that's you, Laz, as in Michelle and Laz, good to see you, buddy. No, these aren't festival sunglasses, buddy. They would look like. Oh yeah, they were. We did have some of these. You all right, buddy? Yes, we did. Yeah, good to see you, mate. We did have these festival sunglasses. They are the same ones. There's a picture of us all in them, if I remember rightly. So yeah, same ones. Yeah. Greetings from Copenhagen. Yeah, hope you're having a good time, guys. I don't know if Rom and Kai have reached out to you and Michelle about next March, about going to Chamonix. But if they haven't, you might be getting a message about that because we're going to go to Chamonix for a few days next March. Be great to see you guys out there as well if you're available. I know you've got the 2 little ones now, but I'm sure you could arrange something. But yeah, so the car could potentially be for sale. I've not decided yet. Someone has said they've told me their budget available. It's not quite where I need to be, but he was looking for a sub 90,000 mile car. This is a 68,000 mile Audi TT Mark 1 3.2 V6. You won't find one for sale in this colour for as low miles as that. There just isn't one about in the UK at the moment. So I know what I want for it. Be interested to think in the chat what you guys think it's worth, and I'll see if you're close to where he is. But essentially, I'm looking to double my money on the car because I've got it very cheap for what it is, and for me to part with it, it's got to be worthwhile me doing so because it is a rare car, it is an unusual car, and it is a head turner. You go to shows and people do see it. The trouble is, I'm going to shows and there's another one there, so people are looking at both of them. So from a head turning perspective, it hasn't quite got what I wanted. I suppose the colours, the really rare colours, are the white cars. You don't really see white cars a lot. There is a couple of Mark 1 3.2 V6s in white around. Another one in Essex. Jason Case has got one. So that is a really rare car. And obviously there is a lovely Imola yellow car, only one that we're aware of in 3.2 V6 that belongs to my friend Jeff Bedford as well, because he's got a great car in Imola yellow. I've only seen one of those and we've been all over Europe, but we haven't seen any others either. What could you replace it with? That's the thing, DIY Detail. What do I replace it with? Where could you go from here? I wouldn't go for a different Mark car, just so you're aware. So if obviously Mark 1 is where I'm at. The channel's known for Mark 1s. We cover Mark 1s, the shows, the events, how-tos, everything. That's what my channel's known for. So I wouldn't be leaving the Mark. And I know a lot of people are saying, there's not many of you Mark 1 YouTubers about. Everyone's leaving the scene. Well, no, we're not. We're all still here. We just don't get time to make videos as much anymore, really. And people are busy with life. Stephen's on here. I know he was a minute ago. He's always busy doing jobs. And now and again, he pops up with his TT as well. So there are a few of us still doing stuff. And we're not going anywhere. So I wouldn't go off to say like a Mark II or a Mark III because that's not what I'm about. I'm about this. I'm about the iconic looks and the shape of the Mark 1. Out of the coupe and the Roadster, I actually prefer the looks of the coupe because I think that is the iconic Audi TT Mark 1 look. The Roadster just looks a little bit incomplete. As a driving experience, I find the Roadster very wallowy. You point it where you want to go, it doesn't really go where you want it to go. It's a little bit heavy, which is bizarre because this is a much heavier car. It's very nose heavy, the 3.2 V6. It's a real driver's car because when you put your foot down, you plant your foot, you've got that beautiful sound out of it, and you know where it's going. Whereas the Roadster feels just a little bit wallowy. You turn in and it comes in later, and it's a bit, suspension's not great on them. They've got some stiffening obviously underneath on the subframe, but they've lost all the sort of stiffening out of the roof because they obviously haven't got one. Met you at Ockham Bites. while back. I think you might regret it. Only the weight of the is up. Yeah. What car were you driving? Ockham Bikes, buddy. I'd say let me know what car you were driving. We've had some great shows at Ockham Bikes as well. For those of you that have been to the big shows there, I think we had 165 cars, 135 cars one time we had there. That was the big show for us. The first show we had about 65 and we had a great turnout. We thought that was brilliant as well. But, you know, Ockham Bikes has changed. The scene's changed, but Ockham Bikes has definitely changed. I've been there recently, well, within the last year, and because of the A3 roadworks, you basically can't get into the old site. The cafe owners really sort of like downed all his sort of stuff. There's not as much car parking as there once was, and we had about 6 cars there. It was just didn't have the same feel. So hence why we're always looking for new venues to hold. Hence why we had Springfest in my garden. We had sort of nearly 40 TTs there this year. Great summer's afternoon in the garden, had all the cars there. So if you've not checked out that video, check it out. I came with a mate. We was in the overflow car park, flipping valleys. I mean, it's only going to go up, especially as yours is a low miler. Yeah, it is. But it's like, how long do you hold on to it for that money? That's the thing. You know, it's going to start climbing in value, and at one point, you know, if I get desperate for the money, I'll sell it, obviously. But that's the thing, isn't it? It's if you need the money, but then that puts you in an awkward position because then you can't get top dollar for it. I think this car will probably be getting towards its peak in 10 years. And the reason I say that is you find cars become valuable when the people that cherish those cars as kids, that always wanted one, but they were never, they couldn't get insured, or it was out of their price range or whatever. When they get to a stage in life that they have disposable income and they can buy those cars. So a great example being me as a young guy. I grew up in the hot hatch era of the 80s. Those hot hatches have all either been smashed up, stolen, crushed, rotted away. But the ones that are left are the good examples, the pristine ones. You see them at various shows, and they're fetching big money. And that's because the young guys of my age that had, you know, couldn't afford them back then, they are now looking at those cars and they can afford them. They've got the money to buy those cars, so they can pay top dollar for them. And that's where this comes in, I think. I think the age group in 10 years' time, maybe, will be maybe 15 years' time. That'll be the age group that are at that disposable income part of life where they probably will cherish these cars. That's my thoughts on it. Might be completely wrong, but I think that's where they are. 10, 15 years we are away from getting that really big money. Will this last 10 or 15 years more, and will it stay low mileage? It's on 68,000 miles now. If I do 3,000 miles, I've done 3,000 miles in it this year since I've owned it. So if I do 3,000 miles a year in it for the next 10 years, it's going to be approaching 100,000 miles. And at that point, it needs change doing. There's just lots of things that will need doing on it. It lives in the garage, so obviously from a bodywork condition and a rotting perspective, it's going to be protected. But is it worth me holding on to it for that period of time? I don't know. What do you think, guys? So if you're enjoying what you're watching with me talking a load of old nonsense about the car, please give it a like here on YouTube. There's a little button there, a little thumbs up button. And again, if you are new to me, you've not seen me before here on YouTube, and you haven't given me a follow, please look at subscribe to the channel if you're interested in the Audi TT Mark 1. I'm also now covering Ford Fiesta Mark 7s of all things, because if I'm perfectly honest, they get more views. My top 5 videos every day are all Ford Fiesta videos nowadays, because there's just more of them, and the kids need, you know, like changing a wing mirror is my most popular video, believe it or not. So there's a wing mirror video on here about how you change a Ford Fiesta wing mirror. It's about 6-7 minutes long, my most popular video. And the reason for that is everyone's got a Ford Fiesta and everyone's knocking their wing mirrors off and need to replace them. Stephen Harper, 210,000 miles on my TT. I have to say it might not be a big money maker if I sell it, but I have 100% enjoyed driving my TT. Yeah, about the Roadster then, you still happy with that? Yes, I am still happy with my Roadster. hence why there's a little YouTube short from last night. If you've not seen it yet, go and have a look at my YouTube short. It's only a minute long, and it just talks about why you should buy a cheap roadster in winter. And just look at the smile on my face from driving it. It was wonderful yesterday. I went out, hoodie on, hat on, blue glasses on, driving around the roads, freezing cold weather, had the seat cranked right up, had the blowers going. It was lovely and warm in the car, beautiful sunshine. You've got the roof down, looking around. The vision in those cars is amazing. When you've got that roof down, the vision in the roadster, it's just second to none. You can see everything. It's amazing. And I just want to keep putting my arms up in the air and just feeling the wind as I'm going past. It just feels lovely to be out in the open. Totally agree, Stephen. These cars are for driving. They're not for well, they are for putting in the garage as well, aren't they? But you've got to enjoy these cars, and if you're not putting a smile on your face, it's time to sell it, isn't it? And I say this car, you probably remember the blue car. It broke down at what's the services called? The M25, Cobham Services. It broke down at Cobham Services on the way back from Simply Audi, which really upset me and made me fall out of love a little bit with that car. And this having the alternator last weekend and making me sit in the freezing cold with my wife at Ace Cafe last weekend. Yeah, Simply Audi was where we were at when I broke down. I broke down actually at Simply Audi first, then I broke down on the way back, sat at this side of the M25 with Carl, Chris and Kyle for about 5 hours in the freezing cold. Hats off to those two guys for staying with me. Put a couple of legends they were for doing that day. But so last weekend we sat at Ace Cafe just completely disheartened. So I didn't even enjoy the show because all I was doing was worrying about getting home and getting towed back home. So that made me fall out of love with it a little bit and thinking, well, should I get my money out of the car now? Who knows? What do you think, guys? What's your thought? Should I sell or should I stay? What are your thoughts? I mean, I won't leave the scene because obviously I've got my Roadster and I love the cars. You know, I do love working on the cars. I love looking at the cars. And obviously we've got the big show coming up. What happened at Ace Cafe? I drove to Ace Cafe. So I live in Kent. I live between Maidstone and Tunbridge Wells. And I got as far around the M25 as Heathrow. And I had the red battery light come on the dash. And I knew that meant that the battery wasn't charging. The car was driving fine. I had the lights on because it was early in the morning. And we had the wipers going and it just stopped raining, luckily. So I turned the wipers off to save battery. I turned the lights off to save battery. And it carried on driving. And I got all the way to Ace and reversed into a parking space and turned the engine off. Opened the door and wasn't quite straight. So I thought, oh, I better straighten up. Went to start the engine and it was dead. And I'm quite glad at that point I tried it again, which I should have done anyway. And of course, it wouldn't start because the battery was not being charged by the alternator. So I phoned the RAC and I said, can you come and have a look at the car? You know, I'm a member. Can you come and check it out? I said, I think my alternator's gone. So the guy came out after about an hour and 10 minutes, turned up, to be fair. And I said to him, the alternator's gone. I know the alternator's gone because the battery's not charging. I'd sort of scanned the car as well. I had my scanner with me. The battery, the alternator's gone. Oh, well, I'll just check it over anyway. I said, okay, you check it, but I know the alternator's gone. So he checked it from the battery and he said, oh, yeah, your alternator's gone. I said, thank you. I said, right, so if you need to get me home, you can't tow me on two wheels because they do say if you pull the fuse out of fuse 16, I think it might be, you can tow them on two wheels. I still wouldn't recommend that. I don't trust that whatsoever. With the Haldex, the four-wheel drive, you've got to get these off the ground and get them on a flat low loader. So they phoned back to the yard or whatever they do, and they ordered me a low loader. Now, being the RAC, they don't have their own low loaders at a weekend, so it had to be a contractor who then spent the next 3 hours trying to find us. So it took us about 5-6 hours to get recovered. Not great. I think I was in the Audi Silver. I think was in the Audi Silver. You would consider keeping it. Oh, if the Audi was in silver, I do like the colour, but it's not the one I would keep. I think you already made your mind up. Yeah, Paul. Good to see you, mate. I hope you're keeping well. I don't think I've seen you, Paul, since we went to the car show up the road from my house. I think that was the last time I saw you, mate. But it'd be good to see. I don't know if you've seen the video last night about coming to Belgium next year for the International TT show. It'd be great to see your car there, mate, because it's a great example, and it's a fantastic weekend away. So if you fancy that next year, next April, please consider it, because it's a really great weekend. Most people now bring their wives. I think the scene's changed. It's quite nice, actually. It's not just like guys, petrol heads going to these meets. It's also people bringing their wives, and also wives that are into the scene are bringing their husbands along as well. So Catherine always brings Steve along. Steve's not the car guy. Catherine's the car person, but she brings Steve along. So it's good to see partners coming along, and it's becoming a really, really nice. It's always been a great environment, but it's been a really nice environment recently. I have the same car, love it. Mel, you have this car, same as this car. Mark Perry says hi Mark, how you doing? Hope you're good, buddy. So you've got this car, Mel. What's your mileage? Great videos as always, Andy. Bring on Belgium. Thanks, Jack. Good to see you, mate. Look, I'm glad you're coming back. I think you've been every year as well so far, so you'll be one of the OGs coming back this year. So it'll be good to see you. I have the convertible 225 in the shop at the moment for a fixing. Oh dear, what's it need doing? What's having done to it? I guess you need some work doing on that. But yeah, so when I come to Belgium, I've just booked my crossing, right? So for those of you that haven't seen the video, I recommend going and checking out my video on the trip to Belgium next year. All the information's in the video. But for those of you that want to come over with us, we are going on the Wednesday morning. We're getting the 10:20